Can you make a video on how to be hopeful when your past hasn't been great? How to forgive ourselves and others for our past mistakes, to not regret wastage of time, and to move ahead with hope, wonder, especially when the past keeps haunting and hijacking our thought process. That's a question and a request from one of my viewers. And I just want to share with you from the heart today. I don't know how to perfectly express this, but I know living with pain of the past, it's crippling. You're trying to move ahead in life. You feel like life is tough enough. And, in the back of your mind, like sometimes even the forefront, there's just this voice that makes you feel like you've wasted your life. You've wasted your time. You've been hard done by, and your life is ruined and everything's going to become crashing down. And, it can feel like you're never going to get rid of that voice. And sometimes that voice feels true. But today, I want to share with you a solution and a way of looking at it that has really helped me and healed me. And it's not a technique. It's not, breathing, which, I'm sure that's very useful. It is, and does help. But it's really looking into the nature of our thinking, looking into the nature of the past. And by going at that philosophical angle and that higher view, more removed from the problem and the issue, it actually creates healing. It actually impacts you and cascades down multiple different levels. Instead of going and picking one past event or one thing in the past, we go straight to the top, which is your consciousness, right? Go past identity, go past all these layers of reality that we create, and go straight to how we see reality. Because how we see reality changes, our experience with our emotions, our thoughts, and our past changes as well. So we're going to go and attack it at the source, so to say. And I'm really excited because this has profoundly helped me. I've been, at personal development and deep stuff for about a decade now. I got into it pretty darn young, and I feel like I'm at a level where I've looked at so many different modalities, so many different structures and ways of doing things throughout the industry. And, this is the way that I was able to heal my past and, get over my things. And I can't say that my past is, completely healed or anything like that. But I can say with certainty that no matter what comes up within my mind, I can be free of it. I have total hope and peace of mind, knowing that my mind can be overcome. And that confidence alone has been tremendous, and it has really created a lot of freedom, access, and hope for me. And so I want to give that hope to you. So I guess I'll start with a story. I remember when I was like 18 or 17, I passed up on this opportunity to work for this organization or do some volunteering for this organization. It was a really cool leadership style organization. And, my friend actually ended up doing it. And he ended up getting a job through them. And it was like a really cool job where he was learning all this stuff. And I was like 19 and I was chatting with my mum at a cafe. And I was just feeling total regret. I felt like I had ruined my life at the age of 19 because I didn't say yes to this job opportunity. I had ruined my life. And then I looked around and I was talking to one of my uncles, and he was telling me about his regret. He was telling me about a regret, and it was like some sort of job thing, and he felt like that ruined his life. He missed out on this business deal or contract, and it ruined his life. He felt it was horrible. And then I was talking to my 14-year-old cousin, and he too had some regrets from primary school. You see where I'm going with this? No matter where you are in life, no matter your situation, your mind can make you suffer. Your mind can create suffering and regret no matter the situation you're in. This has nothing to do with the actual situation. And it has everything to do with the power of your mind to generate illusion. And this isn't just any sort of illusion. This is an illusion that makes it feel real. Like when you think about it, doesn't it feel real that you've wasted your time? Doesn't it feel real, all these regrets about the past and, not being able to get over your past and, not being able to fully forgive someone? All of this thinking feels really real. And we try to work within the boundaries. We never question our thinking. But you see, it's all located in your mind. The problem and the solution, it's all contained within you. So a lot of the time when we're trying to look after the past, right, there's a couple of ways we can look at it. Let me systematically take you through this, and so that way you can clear some possibilities out of your head and you can see the answer. So this is you. Let's look at the first way people try to address the past. They try to go back in time. And as you look at it, let's go back in time, right? Oh wait, we can't. We can't go back in time. That's impossible. There's no way to travel back in time. So we know we cannot ever address the past, ever by going back in time. It is dead. It is done. And sometimes, we still think we can go back in time. And we still hold on to this pain and suffering like we can change it. But this whole time, we never really had control. We never had control. And so the next thing is that we try to go into the future and change what is now. We try to change our circumstances. Like, hey, if I make $1 million, doesn't matter how poor I was. Or, if I find love and do this and I set my circumstances up right and everything aligns, then I'll get over my past. And that doesn't really work because, even in a nice circumstance, the mind has the capacity to be ungrateful. The mind has the capacity to take what is a beautiful life and twist it and make it seem as though you are suffering. Be and rest assured that your mind will make you suffer no matter what. It sounds horrible, but it's true. And so if we can't change it in the future and around us, and we can't change it in the past, where can we change it? Where do we actually look for it? Within ourselves. We have to look within. Because the past doesn't exist behind you anymore. It's done. And the past, cannot be solved by looking outside of you because your mind still creates it. And that's the secret there. That your mind is creating your reality. Now, I'm not sure about the world outside us, but the reality that we experience is being solely and 100% created by our mind. The past doesn't create our reality. The future doesn't create our reality. Our thinking creates the reality that we experience. It is our beliefs, it's what we think is true about the past that we're experiencing. We're not experiencing the past. There's no way you experience the past. The only way to experience the past is within the safety of your mind. So we look within. Now, some have tried to dig up the past and try to cut out what is within ourselves, right? So I've got a past trauma or a past worry. I try to force it out of me, but that actually strengthens it. It strengthens the reality of our thinking and our beliefs, right? And so working into our psychology, it just gets messy. On the level of psychology, it just gets messy. And maybe you've been to counseling, psychotherapy, you've done healing work and different things. It might work for a little bit, but it also might have made you worse. It might have made you more depressed, which is pretty sad, right? So you can't go into your psychology. So where do you go? How do you do it? Well, you've got to go beyond the psychology. There's a world beyond the suffering of your psychology. You See, the only thing that can suffer is your psychology. And luckily, whether you know it or not, you are not your psychology. You are not your suffering, and you are not your past. You're just observing it happening. And where the trouble happens is that when we think we are the past, where we think we are our psychology and we identify with the form, when really, if you think about it and you deconstruct it, you are formless. You're dust to dust, ashes to ashes. And so any lack of forgiveness, it actually exists within you. Any fears, that's created by you. And if that was to be uncreated, then it wouldn't exist. So we've gone into the philosophical, let's get a bit more specific, right? I want to give you an example. I love this one. To not regret wastage of time. You see, the concept and the truth and the belief that you have wasted time exists and is being created by your mind as you speak. You think it's reality, but there's no reality outside of you that says you have wasted time. You know, maybe the world says it, but if the world was to die tomorrow and be wiped out, then there would be nothing in the universe that says that you have wasted time. The only person who says they've wasted time is you in your own mind. And that's the thing, that's the only thing that really counts, does it? If everyone said you were a tuna fish and you knew within your heart that you're just a human, it wouldn't affect you. And if you knew within your heart that you hadn't wasted time, that time is this thing that we create in our minds, then we'd be free of time. You'd have free time. Didn't you love free time? I used to get free time in primary school. You could do whatever you wanted. What if that was our lives? You know, possibly. You see, the more that you realize and recognize that the problems that you think are outside of you and your past or around you and your psychology is being created completely and 100% from your own mind, that the feelings that you experience are always coming from your mind, the moment that you realize that on a deeper and deeper level, and it's 100% vacuum sealed tight, that's the moment you start to heal. Because if we look at this meta and you recognize it, and this isn't just a healing, this is an insight. An insight is to see something, see the truth of something. And once you see an insight, you can't go back. If you've seen something from this video or what we're speaking about right now, it's too late. You've seen that it's true. Like if you see that you have a hand, you can't unsee it. It's here, it's real, it's reality. It just is what it is. And if you see that your past is completely created from your own mind, and that's the only thing, this is my promise to you, you only need to recognize it. You only need to recognize that it's your thinking that is creating your suffering, that there's nothing in the outside world. You, minus your thinking, you are completely free, you are liberated, you are loving, you have infinite time because there's no time. Everyone is already forgiven. And there is no hijacking of thoughts. The past cannot hijack your thoughts. The past is your thinking. Everything is thinking. And once you realize that, you're not going to be deluded. And free of delusion, you will be free of suffering. This doesn't happen overnight. It can happen overnight. But you have a little insight on it. And once you have that little insight, you can't go back. You can't go back. And you see, the more that you recognize your thought, it's like a psychological immune system. You start recognizing it and getting consciousness around your psychology, and your psychology cleans itself out. It almost poops out all the bullshit thinking, the thinking that's painful, that's suffering. It will clear it. Consciousness itself has a clearing mechanism. It's built into our thinking, that it will clear out false thoughts, it will clear out painful thinking, it will clear out thinking that it does not want to maintain, that it doesn't have reason to maintain. And even if you think the thoughts are useful, even if you think it's important to hold on to the past, otherwise you're going to hurt yourself again, you'll kind of give up, because you have this choice within your mind to be peaceful and loving and full of hope, which is your natural state, or to hold on to this suffering and it actually deplete your energy. And that's your choice always. You always have a choice. And like, here's the secret: you're one thought away. Always one thought away from living a beautiful, peaceful, loving, and free life, free of your past. Once you realize how free and unshackled and liberated you are, and you realize and you gain consciousness over the prison of the past that you've put over yourself, like, hope and joy and those things automatically spring up, because you realize life is this beautiful canvas that you have access to, and you can never be beholden to suffering again. As Sydney Banks, the Scottish mystic, says, you wake up and you realize that you'll live in this weird nightmare, and then you wake up into the dream. And you realize how beautiful life can be. On a Christian level, on a Christian level, it's like you're being born again. It's like being childlike, the way that Christ describes. Imagine you could start your whole life over with a clean slate and all the time you wanted, and you could be completely free. And that's what's possible. And you don't do it alone. You realize that you've got God with you. God's always moving through life. God is moving through this video. God is moving in your mind and in your heart, and is always trying to lead you back into communion with Him. So for a Buddhist or someone from an Eastern tradition, communion with God is communion with the formless, being connected with the nothingness and the intelligence of life. And for a Christian, which I'm personally Christian, it's like being connected to the Holy Spirit and being drawn closer to the Father. And in that loving embrace of the intelligence of life, and by the way, you don't have to be faithful. You can just look that life is intelligent, that your mind isn't intelligent. Somehow everything's intelligent. It's intelligent that if you get a cut on your hand, it's going to heal. It's intelligent that your mind has thoughts that interacts with the world. You see, that intelligence, that same intelligence, can also guide you through life with hope and wonder. And if you sit with that quiet feeling and be free of your past and be free of your shackles, then that hope will rise within you. And if you're in a feeling of love and hope and peace and freedom, you're going to create a pretty bloody good future. You can be free to serve the Lord, as I would call it, but you could also be free to listen to your intuition and your inner guidance, and take actions that will lead you to successful paths and different things. And here's the most exciting thing. When you free yourself from your past, you then go ahead and give permission to free others. Everyone can be freed from their past through your own freedom. And that is a gift that you give to yourself and you give to the world and every single person that you interact with. And people know it, people realize it. You see, thinking is illusory. It is deceptive. It can put you into misery and hell on earth. But if you're aware of it and you realize it is you thinking, and you get a bit of thought recognition, it can never, and it will never have a hold on you, that same hold on you again. And the thing is that you might worry about those thoughts coming up again. You might worry that, the thoughts might exist in another person. But just know that the moment you get conscious, and the moment that you're aware that it's your thinking, it will lose all power. And the more that you invest into realizing that and looking at the philosophical truths of life and consciousness, the more peaceful you get, the more happy you get. And before you know it, you won't just be able to let go of your past quickly, The past may not be a factor. There may come a time in your life where you're just here, present in prayer and loving with God and life and one with the world. That is all for today. It's probably my longest one. And thank you to my viewer. I hope this helps. I know how tough life can be. I know how painful our minds can be. But please hold on. There's always hope. There's always love. And your future can become so beautiful. It can become so beautiful. And your present can become so beautiful. And that can happen right now. It can happen at any moment. So stay in the hope. Stay in this conversation. Keep searching. Keep listening to your heart. And you'll find your way. God bless. Thank you. Jacob is out.